Hi guys, this is Mrs. Denny, and today we're going to be talking about what we would have been talking about in Hire Me this week, which is the beginning of the interviewing process. And this week we're going to talk about what we would wear to an interview, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And like so many things that we've learned about this semester, it's subjective. Different people will have different opinions about what's appropriate. So what we're going to teach you is what we feel like you should do or how you should start at a base level, being a new, just entering the job force or internship world level person. As you get older and have more experience, you will find that what you wear to an interview will differ based on the different types of jobs you're applying for. Some jobs are more casual, some are more formal, but right now we're starting with a very baseline, conservative interview dress. I'm going to go through the do's and the don'ts, and it's a lot of information. You need to watch this whole thing because when we go back to school and you have your exit interview for Hire Me, you will be expected to come to the interview dressed appropriately based on what you are learning in today's presentation. So we're going to start off with the 5 levels of business attire. So this first level is baseline casual. So there are 5 levels of business attire, and depending on where you work, they may say, hey, you can come business casual, or you can come casual, or you can whatever. And you'll kind of need to know what that means. But I'm going to show you this so that you can see what they're talking about and tell you whether it's relevant or right for an interview. So baseline casual is absolutely not appropriate for an interview. But you can see here it's t-shirts, and this guy's wearing like a v-neck t-shirt or shirt, dark and elegant denims, which are jeans, tasteful sneakers. The girl's wearing something sleeveless. She's wearing jeans and sandals. None of that would be appropriate for an interview, but if you worked somewhere that was really casual, you could wear this to work. The next is mainstream casual. If you looked at this, you might think, man, I could wear that to an interview. That looks pretty formal to me. That looks like something I could wear to an interview, but this is not really appropriate for an interview either. So it's called mainstream casual. The guy is wearing shirts and sweaters in a variety of colors and patterns. Notice that he does not have on a tie. He's wearing slacks. They call them slacks. They mean khakis, that sort of thing, or corduroy pants, and relaxed, but still what you might consider professional shoes. I would probably think in terms of like the boat shoes you guys wear. I can't think of the name of them right now, that sort of thing. For the girl, she looks like what you might think is appropriate for an interview, but this really is not appropriate for an interview. She's wearing a short sleeve top. It looks like she has like a sweater on. She's wearing a skirt. And the skirt would be appropriate depending on the length. We'll talk more about that later. But she's wearing open-toed shoes, and that's a big no-no for interviews. When we get into executive casual, this is where we get into what is appropriate for an interview. The only thing I would say here is that this guy is not wearing a tie. But other than not wearing a tie, if he had a tie on, he would be perfectly dressed for an interview, and so would she. He is wearing a shirt. It says brightly colored or patterned shirt, and that's fine for an interview for us. I mean, obviously you don't want like flamingos on it or palm trees or something like that, but it can be colored. He's wearing a sport coat or a jacket. He's wearing dressy slacks, and khakis are fine. We consider those dressy slacks. He's wearing what they call loafers or monk strapped shoes. This is a dress shoe. It's like a hard-soled dress shoe of some sort. And then the girl is wearing a brightly colored shirt. She's wearing, she in this picture, it says that she's wearing bigger and unique jewelry and accessories, which you would not wear to an interview. We'll get into that in a minute. She's wearing a blazer or a jacket and a skirt. As long as this skirt is knee length or longer, it would be fine. And she's wearing closed-toed pumps, which is a heel of some sort. It can be a low heel or even a flat is totally fine. When you get into traditional business attire, this obviously would be appropriate for an interview. Not everybody would wear this, but this is a dark colored suit. For the guy, still wearing like more of a traditional shirt and more of a traditional tie, dark brown or navy blue Oxfords, guys, you want your shoes to match your outfit. Meaning if you're wearing khakis, you can wear brown shoes, but if you're wearing black pants, you can't wear brown shoes. You need to have black shoes on. And another big thing for the guys are socks. You have to have dress socks. You cannot wear white athletic socks with dress shoes and dress pants. And you cannot wear ankle socks where we can see your skin. Your socks need to come up to mid-calf so that it covers your skin, okay? And a tie is an absolute must at an interview. Girls over here, she's wearing a colored suit, which is considered traditional business attire. She's wearing a professional top, which would be more like a blouse, but you don't want anything with a deep V-neck or deep cut neckline. You also want to be very careful, and this is something that's harder for our teenagers, to make sure that none of your undergarments are showing in any way, shape, or form when you are dressing for an interview. You want your skin to be covered, and you want to make sure that our bras and things like that are not to be seen in an interview situation. She's wearing tights or pantyhose are fine. We'll look at that in the next slide. And once again, closed-toed shoes, closed-toed heels. The last one and the most conservative of all of these is called boardroom attire. This obviously would be amazing for an interview. It is a full suit for a guy. It's a conservative color, usually gray or navy blue or black. A white dress shirt, which is perfect and will always work. A modest tie, typically like a red is a power color, but you could be blue or some other conservative color. And he's got on black shoes. That is for boardroom attire. They consider black shoes, black dress shoes, the absolute must. And for women, notice that she's got the same suit on as in the last one, but it's a conservative color. It's not red. It's not colorful. It's a blue or a black or a gray or maybe even a brown. She's wearing a dress shirt that actually is like a button-up blouse, which would be perfect. It's white. It's very conservative. Her skirt, and this is super important for you guys, is your skirt has to be knee length or longer. That is super, super, super important. You need to make sure and try on whatever you're going to wear to an interview and make sure it is knee length. When I say knee length, I mean bottom of your knee, not top of your knee or longer. And you always want to do the sit test where you sit in that skirt and you make sure that it doesn't ride up to a place where you'll have to worry about that, because you don't even want to think about that when you're in an interview. You don't want to have to worry about what you're wearing. You want to know that what you're wearing is appropriate and you're going to feel comfortable in it. Here she's wearing black tights. That could be tights or pantyhose, and she's wearing black heels. Some other things to think about. This is for menswear, what to wear. So obviously a suit, if you have it, is great. Stick with conservative colors, navy or dark gray. If you don't have a suit, guys, and I know a lot of you don't, a pair of khakis, a dress shirt, a tie, and a sports coat is fantastic. If you don't have a sports coat, a tie and a shirt and khakis are fine. You must iron all of your clothes, have them pressed and have them nice and neat. You must tuck in your shirt. You must wear a belt if you tuck in your shirt, and your belt needs to match your shoes. So if you're wearing brown shoes, you should have on a brown belt. If you're wearing black shoes, you should have on a black belt, okay? You want to make sure you wear a long sleeve shirt in some conservative color or pattern. I don't care if it's got a little bit of color to it, but like I said, no crazy, we don't want Santa Clauses on your shirt or something like that. For your ties, guys, these are just pick something conservative and simple. Later in life, as you go into a more creative industry, having a fun tie might be appropriate, but right now we're keeping it super conservative. Your belt and any jewelry, watch, anything like that you wear would just be very simple, very classic, very, conservative. And then, as I said before, your socks should be mid-calf length. They should be the color that kind of goes with your pants and your shoes. They should not be white athletic socks. Your shoes need to be like hard-soled dress shoes. And if you don't own those, you can, or any of this stuff, all of you can easily go to like a Goodwill and find this stuff very cheap in your sizes, even if they're used dress shoes for $5 or something like that's totally fine, okay? But it's always good to go ahead and invest in a good pair of dress shoes. Things that guys shouldn't wear: character ties, formal shirts, trendy dressy shirts, or powder blue suits. I don't know that anybody owns a powder blue suit, but if you do, let's not wear that to an interview. All right, girls, for you, over here it's showing you what you should wear. A two-piece suit for a woman is the absolute perfect thing. It's a female suit. It's cut for a female body. It works really great. It's very professional. Pants are great. I prefer pants. I don't like skirts. But if you feel comfortable in a skirt is fine. It can be a blazer, a pants, or a skirt. Different types of blouses. Notice there's one here with a collar and button up, and there's one with kind of just a, I don't know what that's called, that kind of neck, but it's just a simple pullover blouse. Not cotton, not t-shirt material, not casual, okay? When they say hosiery, they want it to be like, if you're going to do, flesh colored hose, which is fine, to cover your legs, that's great. But you could also do a colored hose as long as it matches your skirt. I would say with the heels, only wear heels if you feel like you could handle the heels and walk in the heels for a long time. I personally couldn't. I'm not good at heels, and we don't want any kind of platform shoe or boot or anything like that. Just a conservative pump. I would pick a lower heel or even a flat. And then jewelry for girls is always very simple. Like a thing of pearls is fine. A simple necklace is fine, but we don't want anything big and bright and crazy. Even though that might be your personality, we don't necessarily want to show that in an interview. And you want to make sure that even the bag you bring or the purse you bring is professional and appropriate for an interview. Things girls should not wear: no mini skirts, nothing short, nothing with a deep V or showing lots of skin. Like I said before, we don't want to see any undergarments, no large pieces of jewelry, no platform or stiletto pumps or crazy high heels, and no casual tote bag, or you want some sort of professional bag. Another thing to think about when going to an interview is your grooming. Guys, you should be clean shaven before you go to an interview. If you're wearing a beard or something like that, that's fine. Even make sure that's well groomed and looks nice. Looks like you've put some effort in. Guys, you're going to want to do some styling to your hair. Look like you're trying to look nice. You're trying to look put together. Girls, same thing. You're going to make sure that your hair is well groomed. I would say pull some of it back out of your face. Make sure it's not hanging in your face if you have long hair. Your makeup should be minimal and natural. We don't want like I'm going out at night look. We want very simple, neutral, simple makeup. You want to look like yourself, but a little bit better if you wear makeup. And if you don't wear makeup, then don't wear makeup to the interview. That's totally fine. And for girls, you want to make sure if you have fingernails, if you have nails done, you want to make sure they're in a conservative color, not something crazy and wild and glittery, that sort of thing. Guys, even with your hands, you want to make sure that they're well groomed. You've got your fingernails cut and filed and all of that kind of thing. Those things will be paid attention to. So girls, here's another interviewing attire, do's and don'ts. You see she's dressed perfectly in the suit here. I think that's a black suit with a white blouse underneath. She's got jewelry in moderation, a conservative two-piece suit. That could be pants if she, instead of a skirt. Notice the skirt is knee length. She's got on hosiery that's a skin color and dark shoes. Over here, we don't want to do this. She's wearing crazy jewelry. She's got on a tight kind of t-shirty looking bright colored shirt. She's got capris on, which are way too casual. And she's got open-toed shoes on. Even though they're heels, they're open-toed. And then she's wearing carrying this bag that's brightly colored. And for guys, notice he looks perfect. He's in an amazing suit. He's wearing a tie. He's wearing a white dress shirt, dark shoes and socks. Don't have, if you have facial hair, it should be neat and trimmed. Don't wear distracting or busy patterns. He's got his pants rolled up. He's not wearing socks. Notice I can see his ankles. Ugh. And he's wearing like a dress shoe, it looks like, but with no socks and rolled up pants. We don't do that for an interview. So overall, this gives you a lot of the do's and don'ts. I want to say, be careful, girls. A lot of times it's harder for you than it is for guys. And you don't want to just look in your closet and pull out like a dress that you might wear to homecoming and think, oh, this is formal. Lace is not appropriate. Anything that shows undergarments is not appropriate. Flowy dresses that you would wear in the springtime are not appropriate. I've showed you in this presentation exactly what is appropriate and some of the the things that aren't, but there are so many more things that aren't appropriate. You want to focus on trying to find the things that are appropriate and that will work for you. Go to Goodwill, look in your parents' closet, borrow stuff from friends, but you have to have the appropriate interview attire to interview for Hire Me and internship. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much.